Jim, and welcome to Retro Warriors episode 471. Woo! As always, I'm your host, Justin Baker, and as always, I'm joined by viable human Chris Saturn.
You know, based on the uncut pre-show that a lot of people don't get to hear, so I apologize. So I'm just going to have to explain the joke.
Yes.
I really wanted to respond to you introducing me by just blowing my nose on the air. That was... I resisted it. Not everybody has to hear that.
So for housekeeping, everything's fucked.
Not just the show, just everything in general in life. Sorry if you're learning that from us.
It's OneDrive is fucked. Discord is being fucked right now. Just a lot of things are fucked. So there might end up being a lot of internet dropping or notes frustration. There's a potential for a lot of things to go badly over the course of this show.
Or they'll be fine. We don't know.
Oh, no, yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll fucking see. So just want to throw it out there. If there's weird edits or we sound weird or I start screaming about OneDrive again, then that's what is happening.
Yeah, or we start talking in another language, you know.
Yeah, and Google Auto Translate turns on.
I don't
so
even
that's
speak Dutch.
You do now. That's our housekeeping. As far as my week, I picked up some stuff on the Steam summer sale.
Yes.
I did pick up 2 games in a bundle. I don't know how to pronounce this. The Gnorp Apolog.
Okay.
Gnorp, Gnorpe Apolog. I don't know what an apolog is. I know about prologues.
Yeah.
You know.
I know epilogue.
I know epilogue. Yeah, I don't know apolog.
I assume that's an epilogue that takes place in the Appalachians.
That that would make no sense to the context of the game. It's basically like kind of like a city engine builder idle game.
Okay.
And it was just a fun way to, I think I played it for, like, actively played it for 5 or 6 hours, but I think it ran on my computer for like 60 or 70 hours because it's an idle game.
Yeah, I did notice it like running in the middle of the night when you were asleep. Like I would see Discord saying that you were online playing that, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
And it was just a really fun, cute little game.
Nice.
Just, you go in there and you build up your little city, which is these little Gnorps, and they hit this rock, and the rock gives them shards to build more buildings and do different upgrade paths. And then you get, there's like a tech tree, and once you damage enough of the rock, you start getting points to invest in this tech tree. So then you start over, but now you've got extra points and your stuff is better. And you just kind of go through a few cycles of that until you get the rock to level 10, and then you get the ending of the game.
Nice.
It's just a cute, fun, like 2D side-scrolling, kind of sort of half idler, half just thing to have going on in the background on your computer. And I had a good time with it. And it came in a bundle with Chillquarium, which is the same idea but fish, kind of, where it's just an idle game where in this one, so Gnorp Apolog doesn't run when it's closed, but Chillquarium does. So you basically buy aquariums and you put fish in them, and your fish earn you money every day based on how rare they are.
Yeah. And
you can sell the fish for immediate money to buy more fish and upgrades. And so you'll not load it up. Then a couple days later, you load it up and you have a bunch of money and you buy fish and stuff. And they come in these little packs. So it's kind of like opening a pack of trading cards where you're like, ooh, I got 3 legendary rare fish, you know.
Yeah. Part of me hopes that every other game that you tell me about from now on is just, well, it's basically the same game but fish.
Yeah. It's Vampire Survivors, but fish, right?
It's Dark Souls, but fish.
I also picked up a game called Devil Blade Reboot.
Okay.
For no reason other than the name was cool, and I read the Steam description, and it was like a reboot of this old, shmup game done by the original developer, which you see on Steam every once in a while, where the original developer of whatever weird indie, Japanese shmup from the arcades comes out and re-releases their own game. And it's just a really, really fun, ultra fast-paced shmup. And it uses this thing, I think it's called a berserk mechanic.
Nice.
Where the closer you are to something you shoot, the more points you get for it. Which is kind of the opposite in my head of how, you want to play shmups. You want to be far away from all the shit.
Yeah.
And you can eventually fill up a bar, your berserk mode, and you go into berserk mode, and it just does different stuff.
Nice.
And it's just a really fun, interesting way to have to play shmups, of having to be as close as physically possible to stuff.
I do like when games do that mechanic, though, where you have to get close to build up a gauge or something.
Yeah, and it just kind of inverts the way I normally play those games in an interesting way.
Yeah.
And so I've been having a lot of fun with that, and it's a pretty fun game. It also has like it seems aware of how if you're not ready for it, you can just get insta killed doing that, being real close to shit.
Yeah.
So it has a shield mechanic, so you'll get a shield a few times per level, and a bomb mechanic, and I think on easy mode it has auto bombs where they bomb instantly whenever like you're about to die.
Yeah.
It has a whole bunch of unlockables, which I love in shmups. Like when you're playing through, you can slowly start unlocking stuff, like unlocking extra continues, unlocking like CRT filters, because then it gives you an incentive to play that's not just like high score mode.
Yeah.
And so it's just been a fun, like it feels very like not gameplay wise at all, but just kind of like speed wise, it feels very Musha, right? Like extremely fast, like everything's just rushing at you real fast kind of shmup, which I appreciate kind of getting in that sort of zen mode with and spending some time with. Nice. So the whole thing feels very like Musha tension wise.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a shot because you did get me a copy.
Yeah, well, I was like, Saturn needs this.
Yeah, and I've got it installed now. I'm just I hadn't gotten around to trying it yet.
Yeah. What have you been playing?
So I downloaded Still Wakes the Deep, which is I saw all these articles that were like the indie horror darling is on Game Pass now, and people saying if you're waiting for Silent Hill, play this, and I'm like, all right, I'll give this a shot.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's a walking simulator. And I was very...
They got you, Saturn.
I know. I was very upset. Like, I started getting into it a little bit. I was like, the atmosphere is okay, but when am I going to do a thing?
Yeah, the intro's a little long here.
And then I finally look it up, and it's the same developer as Dear Esther, which is like...
Oh, no.
That's the anti-game for me. I got tricked into buying Dear Esther on Steam years ago. Actually, I think it came with a bundle that I got. But anyway... I had been told that, like, oh, it's a great story, blah, blah, blah. And I was just so upset that there was no actual gameplay, that it has always been a game that I like have a vendetta against Dear Esther. And so I was upset that me downloading this on Game Pass may have given money to the developer of Dear Esther.
Yeah.
It does eventually have some puzzles in it, but they're like brain dead puzzles. And I was very upset. And so I stopped playing that. And then I downloaded the demo of Cryptmaster on Steam because I'd heard good things about it.
Okay.
And so it is a first-person dungeon crawler.
Mm-hmm. You love those, Saturn.
I normally hate those, yes. So I was a little hesitant. However,
very weird aesthetic on this.
It does. It's got like a quasi-dark but funny aesthetic, but it's got kind of this monochrome look to it. And you do things by spelling words. Everything is about spelling, and the announcer mocks you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to be like menacing, but menacing in like a sometimes goofy way and sometimes dark way. And again, I've only played the demo, and I've only played a little bit of it, so I'm not super deep into it. But it seems just weird and goofy enough that I may end up going ahead and picking it up.
Yeah.
Just because it's got some style to it. It's got some style. It's got some aesthetic to it that has kind of got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll stick with it all the way just because I don't really care for first-person dungeon crawlers. But it's weird enough that... Because like I don't really care for card games either, but Inscription was weird enough that I stuck with it. So I'm thinking maybe this will be one of those that the quirks and the weirdness are enough to get me through the gameplay that I don't care for.
It does have overwhelmingly positive reviews, which usually bodes well.
Yes, so it does seem to be quite popular, and so I'm giving it a shot, and it seems neat enough so far. I'm digging what I've played.
Yeah. Well. Let's do the news.
Okay.
So amicable. First up, Nintendo is removing, or has already removed, I believe, the Gulf War Game Boy from display, which is upsetting. It's a pretty, notable piece of gaming history. it's something that we, I don't enjoy that future generations can't see it. But also, I'm still shocked it was still running. I got to see it on my trip to New York. Oh my God, 5 years ago. Oh my God.
Apparently, it's been returned to NOA in Washington, and they said that it could come back, but it is being kept in a some sort of vault or something, so that it.
You think
could
they've been
theoretically
secretly
come back.
fixing it so it keeps running all these years?
I wouldn't put that past Nintendo.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they also, who knows if they still have parts for original Game Boys at this point.
Yeah, do you think that like one of the most prominent pieces of Nintendo history, they come to them like, oh yeah, we need a capacitor for it, and they're like, yeah, sorry, no parts. And they're like, well, but are you fucking kidding me? Like, get some. No, sorry. No, if it's not
parts.
Switch, it can fuck off.
I'd like to see in like 10 years they secretly replace the innards with an analog pocket just to see if anyone notices.
New games added to Nintendo Switch Online. Oh boy, I can't wait. Yeah, are these going to be what finally convince everybody to? Let's see. All right, let's look. What's the list here?
Yeah.
Cobra Triangle. All right, Solar Jetman, Golf, Mock Rider, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, Urban Champion, and Atlantis No Nazo. Is this a joke?
All right, Atlantis No Nazo is good. I
Yes,
enjoy
all
Mock
right.
Rider, but it's still a black box game. And two of them were already on Rare Replay. But the rest of this, I'm very confused by, especially since Golf was baked into the firmware of the Switch at launch. And now they
Yeah.
want people to pay monthly to play it. That seems like an insult to me.
Also, GBA, I think this is supposed to say Starfy Trilogy?
Yeah, oh, yeah, Starfy.
Starfy
yes.
Trilogy released in the West. It says Staffy, and I'm
My
like,
bad.
Staffy, the staph infection trilogy of games on the GBA.
I'm potentially deadly.
You play as a small strand of Staphylococcus infecting a nearby hospital.
It's
so dark.
It's the kid-friendly version of Plague Inc.
The Starfy trilogy on GBA released in the West for the first time, which that is a good get. Those are pretty cool games if nobody's played those. They're interesting and fun. Not like the most outstanding games in the world, but fun enough.
I'm willing to pay for Nintendo Switch expansion pack level, but if you already have it, it's worth checking them out.
Nintendo has run out of replacement parts for the Wii U, so if you were looking to get that gamepad replaced, then get fucked, I guess. I'm kind of shocked. I'm perpetually shocked. I'll say this to Nintendo's extremely limited and dwindling credit.
Yeah.
They do provide parts for systems a lot longer than it always seems like they should. Like, I feel like it was like
Especially
2010.
for the NES.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it was like 2010 when the NES ran out of parts, and we were all like, you still did that?
Yeah.
We don't even. If you okay.
Right, yeah, they for the NES, I think the FDS was the one that really surprised me because it was like 2012 or 2013. They're like, oh, we finally ran out of
really
belts
late
for the Famicom Disk System.
Yeah, so just interesting, and again, the Wii U has been off the market for many years now.
Yeah.
So, again, credit where credit's due.
Right.
The fact that they provided them this long at all is nice. Modders have added RAM to the Switch, which allows it to play some PC games. If only Nintendo knew what RAM was and could add it to their ancient hardware.
Yeah, apparently
that was already old when it came out.
They got 8 gigs of RAM running in there, which is enough to run Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate at 30 frames per second on the Switch.
What frustrates me is a lot of people with hacked Switches have been doing minor overclocks and running stuff much smoother. A RAM upgrade, minor overclock, I mean, that could be your fucking Switch Pro, and it could have come out 2 years ago.
What gets me is modders have FF7 Remake Integrate running on the Switch, and yet Square Enix still claims it could never run on the PS4. That's impossible. You have to buy a PS5.
Modders once again doing the work that corporations refuse to do.
Yep.
The Hori Steam controller will not be releasing outside of Japan, and I will never forgive them for it.
Right? Yeah,
How
I keep
fucking
checking
dare
Amazon
you.
Japan to see if it shows up there, because I will definitely just import it from Japan if that's
You
the
release this ugly little shitty looking
Right?
controller, and you don't let me buy it. Are
Seriously.
you serious right now? Come on.
case. So upset. by this.
Nintendo will take action against, quote, inappropriate use of characters. For context, a Mario cosplayer in Japan was accused of sending lewd images to minors as in underage people, not people who mine coal. The shareholder, there was a shareholder that wanted to know what Nintendo can do about incidents like this. The answer is virtually nothing.
All. Yeah.
That's just not going to happen.
Now, do we know if those miners worked in a coal mine or not?
They could have been underage coal miners.
They could have been minor miners.
I don't know for sure. But yeah, awful thing to have happened. Obviously a crime.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck Nintendo could possibly do about that.
But they will take action.
Because I'll tell you this. In my head, everyone was all right. The concern was that Nintendo is going after Nintendo-themed pornography. That was the concern on the internet.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing. There are a lot of companies and people that you can sue, and they immediately, like modders and archivists and a lot of communities that you can throw your legal weight around. You cannot in the porn industry. They're like, fucking come at us, dude. We have 1,000 lawyers.
Yeah.
Like, we do this all day long.
And what's more, so much of the porn out there today is independent porn. And who are you going to sue? Like, the people who drew that one image? Good luck finding them. It's credited to Pornmaster 9831.
Yeah. And so, again, the context of this had nothing to do with pornography, but the discussion did seem to immediately turn to pornography. Yeah. The context was someone committed a sex crime wearing Mario. Well, actually, they weren't even doing the crime when that I know of while wearing the cosplay. They just were a Mario cosplayer and also did this crime. And the association is what they were upset about, which I don't blame them.
Right. Yeah.
But also not really a lot you can do about that.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
A previously unreleased GBA action platformer named Kien has been completed and released digitally.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think they're also going to make physical carts of it, maybe, but I forgot to double check that.
Yeah. Unreleased Genesis game Out of the Vortex has been found in a 95% complete state and released by Hidden Palace. So that's cool. Maybe we'll see someone finish at 5%. If not, playing that much of a game is I rarely play 95% of completed games.
Well, I think
I'd probably never notice.
95% complete, there might be some graphical glitches or something.
Sure, yeah.
And I think they said David Cage did the soundtrack for that one, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. Retro Achievements and Dolphin are adding GCNRA.
It's GameCube Retro Achievements. Sorry.
Yes, that's what that stands for, and I knew that when I read it. So it's cool to see Retro Achievements getting added to GameCube. Retro Achievements is a lot of fun, even though EmuDeck keeps fucking signing me out.
Yeah, all of them keep signing me out.
It's annoying. Fix your tokens, Retro Achievements. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance was released on GOG, but Konami is region blocking it from sale in Japan because they don't want Japanese people to have to see how far the franchise fell.
No, they have still made it available for sale on Xbox in Japan. It's just the PC version of this game, for some reason, has never released in Japan, and they seem to refuse to allow it to release in Japan.
I like my excuse better, that they're embarrassed about it.
My guess is it's Konami's strict aversion to modding. For some reason, anything that could potentially be modded, they don't want released in Japan. I don't know why.
Japan has weird rules about modding too, don't they? Weird laws. Like I feel like I remember stories of people getting in trouble for mods that would not have gotten them in trouble over here. But
I think I've read that too.
A new game has been developed specifically for the fan-made Sega Neptune, which is just such a weird fucking...
Right.
What a weird space to be in. Cool.
It feels like weird. when somebody made that a game for the Nintendo PlayStation add-on.
Yeah.
Which is also neat and weird.
Yeah. I like to see it, but what a weird project.
The game is called Sword of the Apocalypse, and it looks like a cute little 2D ninja-y game.
Yeah. WayForward is bringing back the GBA game Sigma Star Saga for modern platforms, and I am fucking here for it. That is a game that I was... The game doesn't fit the GBA screen. I'm just going to say it. They got real big giant sprites, and it just feels kind of weird. It's a fun game. It's cool. It's interesting, but it just doesn't fit on the GBA. Yeah. And so I'm excited at the idea of, a remaster or remake or something that is going to give us a little more space to work with.
Yeah.
It's always been a game I've meant to spend time with, because anytime you look up lists of like, hey, games like The Guardian Legend, it's Sigma Star Saga every time. Number one recommendation. So I'm excited to see WayForward themselves handling that.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out next year on all the modern platforms and PC, so that'll be exciting.
And finally, the PS5 is outpacing the PS4 in sales. Finally, several years into its release. That's good job, Sony.
No, I mean, they say it's sold more than the PS4 did at this point in its sales.
Oh, okay. All right.
It is continuing to do so. It has been doing so for a little while now, which is impressive considering there's like nothing on there that is that impressive. I was about to say, that isn't elsewhere.
Like, what are people playing on PS5 that they can't get somewhere else? Is it
God of War?
Well, the God of War's on PC. Well, one of them is.
Well, they both are now, but it took.
Oh, both of them. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Spider-Man.
Well, those are both on PC too.
No, not both of them. Just the first.
Well, there's two of them. Aren't there three of them?
There's three total now.
There's Spider-Man, there's Miles Morales, and there's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And they're not all.
I wonder how
PC.
mad Guy gets that we mispronounce Spider-Man on purpose every time.
What do you mean mispronounce?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, people with PS5s, what are you fucking doing on that thing? Like, what do you? Is it Astro's Playroom all day, or?
Oh man, I do love Astro's Playroom. Anyway, for me, there's a lot of Japanese.
Final Fantasy 16 is still exclusive to it, isn't it?
FF16 is still exclusive. FF7R2 is still exclusive to it, though that's eventually coming to PC.
Yeah.
FF16 will also eventually come into PC. For me,
True.
there's a lot of games that are just PC and PS5 that aren't on Xbox and Switch, and I tend to prefer to play things on a console over my PC when I can. So I'll end up getting it on my PS5, which is frustrating.
Fair. Yeah.
Because I want to just play them on my Xbox and they won't release them there. But, whatever.
Yeah. Which brings us to our topic at hand, which is Tidal, which is a joke that will never get old. Never, ever get old. I think I forgot to put the name in this time. This episode is weird
I think
spinoffs.
you started this one.
So all those really weird fucking spinoffs that you played, or in my case, sometimes were your introduction to a franchise, and what makes them weird. Yes. So synopsis is: what if Mario ran a hotel? Although I don't think Hotel Mario is on our list at all.
No, I think we're intentionally avoiding Mario games.
I feel like we mostly picked things that we found interesting or enjoy.
Yeah.
As far as scope, this is just kind of a list of weird spinoffs that we like.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not comprehensive in any way because nothing we do is, because this is an hour-long podcast. What do you want from us? Give us a break.
Yeah.
There are many, many, many video games out there. And
maybe
we are but
we'll come back to this someday. So
maybe, weird spinoffs too.
Yeah, we gotta save some for the sequel.
Then we can do a weird spinoff of our weird spinoff episode where we pick even weirder spinoffs.
No, the spinoff is when we pick normal games.
Oh, it's a double negative, so it cancels. We are trying not to lean too heavily on mascot games because obviously there's, Sonic Spinball and Mario has a million spinoff games, and it just kind of, is what it is.
I think there are more Mario spin-off games than there are Mario games at this point.
Probably.
So
it's just sort of easy pickings.
Exactly.
So we'll just do this kind of top 10 style, the way we do those, and just sort of go back and forth till we run out of stuff to talk about.
Fair.
And call that an episode. So my first pick is a little game called Metal Gear Acid.
Yep. Heard of this.
Which is... if not my favorite Metal Gear, real close. Yeah. It's like top 3 Metal Gear for me. Metal Gear Acid was released by Konami in 2005. It is a spin-off from the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
Which is itself a spin-off from the Metal Gear franchise.
Yep. So we're 2 spin-offs deep. Yep. So this would have been a good pick for weird spin-offs too. Instead of being able to freely move or use items, you must activate cards. Saturn, don't you love cards? I know you love cards. So any card can be used as movement, but then cards may also be spent for their regular actions. So, like, you can use your SOCOM, your ration, your box, whatever, as movement, or you can use it to equip a box, fire your SOCOM, or eat a ration. This also has the knock-on effect of turning the game to kind of an RNG-fueled Metal Gear Solid strategy RPG, because everything's like laid out in a grid, and you're sort of moving Snake around third person using these cards, right? Kind of... I board game or like tactical miniature style, right? And throughout the game, this is my favorite part, you can find packs of cards depicting different characters and items from throughout the MGS franchise. And many of them are themed packs. So you're like, oh, this is an MGS 1 pack. Mm-hmm. And so it has that kind of trading card game feeling of there being like different sets and cool stuff like that. So that gets me right in the lizard brain real nicely. The story is also super duper weird, and I know that I'm saying weird and it's a Metal Gear Solid game.
Right.
But it is weird for a Metal Gear Solid game. There's like a lot of it's very supernatural focused. Like some of the main bad guys are like 2 animated dolls. It's even for MGS, it's very fucking weird. All of the cutscenes are delivered in like a weird, like comic book kind of way.
Yeah.
With these like very stylized still frames, which looks really cool. I love everything about this game. Metal Gear Acid is outstanding. I absolutely love it. It's a lot of fun. It's also nice because I'm not very good at Metal Gear Solid games, so slowing it down like this makes it a little easier for me.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time with them because I find them tough, and so it's nice to have something where I can really stop and think and enjoy my tactical espionage action, but sort of on my own terms.
The RNG of it killed it for me. I just could not.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of RNG. Granted, you can sort of like if you're in a safe spot, just sit there and cycle your deck and discard your hand a couple times to sort of like draw fresh cards. And there's different things you can do to mitigate the RNG, but it is still a card game. It's very much like you drew your hand of cards. What can you do with this? But also, as you get cards, building your deck changes things a lot. The whole like getting to rebuild my deck for different areas of the game was really cool to me. I really loved that. It's hard to find games that are card games but also do card games right, like with randomness and different packs and themes and deck building and stuff, and this is one that does it right. And on top of that, it's also just a fun strategy RPG, as long as, unlike Saturn, you can handle what starts out as kind of complete randomness. It's a little rough up front, but you get there. Reviews for this one were on the kind of positive side of middling. A lot of critics were on the fence about the new gameplay style and the very weird departure of a story, which again is weird even by Metal Gear standards. And it did get a full-blown sequel a year later in the States, and I didn't ever play the sequel.
The sequel came out, didn't it?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Possibly. But it did also come out in the States, so yeah. I'm not wrong. I never played the sequel. Yeah. Did you ever play? I know you didn't like the first one, but did you try? You didn't try it? Didn't bother?
I didn't bother the second one.
I did not ever play it. I keep meaning to, and I don't sit down and spend the time. Unfortunately, the franchise or sub-franchise, I guess we should call it, has been absolutely silent since. I think there was a little bit of like a digital comic that was in the same style as the story segments in this game that was released maybe on PSP. I don't remember.
I think so, yeah.
But that's been it. It's been absolutely abandoned, and it upsets me because at the very least, give us like a collection or something,
right?
Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2 collected in one game.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Portable Ops showed up on the collection, but not these. So
yeah. What was it? What were the other two? Because there's 4 PSP Metal Gear games. You got Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2, Portable Ops, and Peace Walker, I believe was the other one.
That's it. And Peace Walker's the one that showed up on the collections, not Portable Ops. My bad.
Yeah. So Portable Ops did, and Peace Walker did. Peace Walker also pretty fun, but required. It was very much that Monster Hunter thing where you needed 4 people playing with you to really do anything, and it didn't scale, and so that was very frustrating. But Metal Gear Acid is an outstanding game that I recommend everyone play except for Saturn, and I like it. What's your first pick here, Sam?
I'm going to do Mega Man Soccer first.
Yes, I've only ever played this like one time ever.
I played this so much for some reason. It's awful. So it was developed by a company called Sun L, who I'm not familiar with them. I think they have done other things, but I don't know what they are.
What it might have been.
So they I'm looking it up now. I should have looked it up earlier, but no, it's all shit I've never heard of. It's all Japan exclusive shit. So yeah, it's just some random ass company that Capcom commissioned to make a shitty soccer spinoff of Mega Man. So it was the first ever classic Mega Man game released on the Super NES.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been wanting a classic Mega Man game on Super NES. And then we get Mega Man Soccer.
Oh boy.
So it is not a good Mega Man game. It's not even a good game. I'm going to say that. It's not a good soccer game. Because, I'm not a sports game fan to begin with, but let me explain in my non-sports game fan terms why this is a bad sports game.
I like how just a minute ago I was like, we pick games that we kind of like and are interesting. And you're like, no, first pick, this game blows ass.
I played this so much back in the day too. So I'm speaking from experience. So one, all your characters, because you can choose different Mega Man characters in the game to play as. You can choose different bosses from the first 4 Mega Man games to play as. Actually, it might be the first 5. Each of them can have their own little special ability. So, if you play as a Lek Man, you can shoot a little lightning ball when you shoot the ball, and it'll kill the other players, and they have to come back after a moment. So it lets you get a free score, essentially. The problem is, if you go to a specific spot on the field and shoot the ball, you will always score 100% of the time. No matter what. It doesn't matter if you're playing against the computer or if you're playing against another human. They literally cannot block it. It is a 100% guaranteed goal. So the entire objective of the game is get control of the ball, move to that spot, and always win. And it's very easy to get control of the ball, whether it is an AI player or another human. Yeah. So it's just constantly going back and forth and scoring. And if you're playing against the computer, you'll constantly have a score of 30-0. And if you're playing against another human, you end up at a 15-15 tie every single game, which is a ludicrous score for soccer.
Yeah.
The music was pretty good. The graphics were all right. It does feel like the game is unfinished because when you're on the character select screen, it scrolls horizontally across and lets you pick all the different characters, and cut off on the side of the screen is half of Dr. Wily's face. So clearly at one point you were supposed to be able to scroll over there and select him, and they just removed him but didn't remove his icon from the character select screen.
Yeah.
And if you use a Game Genie, you can select Dr. Wily. He's more or less complete, just not selectable for some reason.
Yeah.
And then they never came back to this. They just let it die. They let this rot on the Super NES vine.
It did end up on GamePro's 10 weirdest sports games ever list.
I believe that. Yeah, that's fine.
So, and gaming historian and famous retro person Jeremy Parrish recommends the game, according to Wikipedia.
I don't know why. I will say, I think they kind of gave an homage to the game in Mega Man 8 because you can get you start the game with the rock ball power up that just lets you kick a soccer ball.
Oh, yeah.
That's the closest they've come to referencing this since then. And
so you're not holding out hope for Mega Man Soccer 2?
Actually, I kind of would like to see that just to see what do they make it a parody or do they make it legit? I don't know.
Its 30-year anniversary was this year, that's so true. I can't believe they didn't.
They didn't revisit this one. Yeah.
My next one is a game that's very near and dear to my heart. It is Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime.
I love that game.
It's so good.
Yes.
This game came out in 2006 North America, 2005 Japan.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I played this first or Dragon Quest 8. I really don't. It very well could have been either. And this is obviously a spinoff of the Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior franchise in which you play a slime.
Yes.
And
it is actually a sequel.
Yeah, because there's more of these. There's 3 of them.
Yes.
Right? There was
the
2
only
on
one
GBA.
That came out outside of Japan.
Yeah, this is a trilogy on GBA, and then this one came out in the US. It's the only one we got.
Yeah.
But it's a very fun, top-down sort of action-adventure game where you travel through different areas, solving little puzzles and encountering creatures and fighting monsters, and you are a slime.
Yeah.
And then, kind of the end of each section of the game, you go have a giant mech battle.
Yes.
And so your top screen is two, like, Dragon Quest themed mechs, like building-sized battle mechs, shooting shit at each other with health bars. And on the bottom screen, it's you and your comrades that you've recruited loading cannons and like running this thing like a pirate ship.
Yeah.
And that's the mini game.
Also, instead of launching ammunition, you can launch yourself over there
and start hitting their guys.
Yes. It's so good.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird.
Yeah. One of my favorite is all the enemy tanks have like goofy names and goofy designs. And one of them is a tree-shaped tank, and its name is Chrono Twigger. And its name is presented in a font that looks just like the Chrono Trigger logo.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, man. It has like, it's got everything. It's got day-night cycles.
Yeah.
It's super cute. It's super fun. It's just, it's great.
Yeah.
It's so very.
And I
very
believe
good.
there are fan translations for both of the other games. The first one was on GBA. The third one is on 3DS. So definitely check those out as well.
Yeah. I'm desperate for a collection on something.
Oh man, that'd be so nice.
That'd be so nice.
I would love to see the three of them rebuilt for a new system. I don't expect it, but man, it would be nice.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, you sent me that picture of Chrono Twigger.
Yeah, it's
even the name looks like the logo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh man, it's very cute.
Yeah, it's an
very
adorable
cute game.
Adorable series.
So we got the third one on 3DS, which is pretty. That's pretty recent.
Yeah.
It was 2011, so I mean, it's 13 years ago, kind of recent.
Yeah. And the fan translation is much more recent. So it's and from my understanding, they're all good quality fan translations.
Yeah, and even this one in the States, it got good reviews.
Yeah.
It was very much treated as kind of like a game for little kids.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. It's a game for everybody. It's fucking awesing.
It is
Everyone
appropriate
should
for
play
little
this game.
kids.
Sure, it's definitely a little kid appropriate. I would say even it might even be a little bit difficult for some, depending on the age of the kids, because there's some sections of the game, like the platforming areas, where it can get a little tough or a little puzzly, but it's such a weird, fun, awesome mashup of kind of like sort of Zelda-y, but then also mech battles for some reason.
There are times where I can definitely get the Zelda vibes from it. But
the kind of overworld puzzle solving stuff.
But man, I love those games, and they're so charming, just so charming.
Yeah, and the city is Boingburg.
Yes,
because you're slimes. Do you get it, Saturn? Boingburg.
There's a lot of slime puns in that game.
Oh, it's so good. It's so well translated.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime, and last I checked, was not very expensive. You picked up my current copy of it.
Did I?
A few years ago, and you paid like $10. You were like at a store, like, "Hey, do you need Rocket Slime?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And it was like $10. Hopefully it's not gotten crazy expensive. That would make me sad if it has. I'm gonna look it up on price charting real quick.
Right.
Let's see. What do we think? What do we think has happened to it since COVID?
That's not the worst. It's 36 loose and 62 in box.
This game was like budget bin fodder for the longest time. Oh, you can get a graded copy for $221 and never fucking play it.
Yeah, don't
Weird. Yeah, a little expensive. R4 carts are less than $30.
Yes.
So do with that information what you will. What's your pick, Saturn?
So next I'm going to go with also a Dragon Quest spinoff and
Yes.
talk about Tornico's Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, I have played this one.
Yes.
Was there a PlayStation version?
There were 3 games in the Tornico series. There's
All right, so
Super
I've
NES,
played the
PlayStation, and
PlayStation
PS2.
one. Yeah.
So it was ostensibly a spin-off of Dragon Quest IV, which also serves as the first game of the Mystery Dungeon series. So it's both a spin-off and not a spin-off. There were other Dragon Quest Mystery Dungeon games. There's the 3 Tornico games and also the 1 Yangus game. And of course, eventually they ditched the Dragon Quest theming and went with Shiren as the hero of the Mystery Dungeon games. But this first game in the series uses Tornico from Dragon Quest IV. And it's themed around because Tornico's chapter in Dragon Quest IV is all about him being a merchant and running an arms store, right? And in Tornico's Mystery Dungeon, you still own your arms store in the Kingdom of Endor, and you're trying to get merchandise to sell there. And so you keep going into the mystery dungeon to get shit. And sometimes you get killed and dragged out by a platypunk. And it's just super charming. It's a neat little quasi turn-based overhead dungeon exploration game for anybody who hasn't played the mystery dungeon games. And it's super charming, and it has a ton of little references to the Dragon Quest games, mostly Dragon Quest IV. And of course, Chunsoft, who makes the mystery dungeon games, also made the first 4 Dragon Quest games. So these are people who were intimately familiar with the series and with the characters and with the world. And when Chunsoft approached NX about making this game, because they had such good relations with NX and with Yuji Horii already, they were like, yeah, go ahead, use the Dragon Quest characters when you make it. And I'm glad they did, because it is super charming. It has got a bunch of Dragon Quest-y music and characters and art. And the Mystery Dungeon series itself is just a lot of fun and still running.
It's also gigantic.
Oh,
I mean, you got the Tornico games, the Shiren games, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games,
Final Fantasy themed ones.
Yep, there's 2 Etrian Mystery Dungeon games, which are also very good.
Oh yeah,
it's crossed over with so much shit. There's just a huge amount of Mystery Dungeon games.
I'm waiting for the first M-rated Mystery Dungeon. I want to know what that's going to be.
What crossover franchise? You want like Silent Hill Mystery Dungeon?
That would be great. Even if they just did like Persona Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm just I'm curious what that would what the first M-rated one will be. Maybe a Resident Evil Mystery Dungeon or a Bayonetta Mystery Dungeon.
Now, Shiren, as far as I know, is Mystery Dungeon original, right?
Yes,
that was not a spinoff.
Yes.
So I mean, obviously the first game was Tornico,
right?
But the as far as I know, the only Mystery Dungeon game with an original character made for Mystery Dungeon is Shiren.
Right.
They even did a Druaga one.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about the Druaga one.
The Nightmares of Druaga, which was I'm curious. It
I
also
think that
looks
one
really bad.
Is Japan only, if I remember right.
Yeah. Anyway, my next pick is where is it? I want to do this one next. Is Doom RPG.
Yes.
This is by Fountainhead Entertainment and Jamdat Mobile. Came out in 2005. It is shockingly an RPG set in the Doom universe. I know. It was programmed in Java, released on feature phones, where it kind of languished for years until some pioneering archivists and programmers finally got it working on PC extremely unofficially.
Yeah.
So it has not been re-released. And so it's been in recent years, like the last couple of years, you can run Doom RPG on your Windows PC if you've got it all set up right.
Right.
It uses the same first person perspective, and just kind of turns the game into a first person dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
Complete with Doom items and Doom weapons. John Carmack himself was the producer and director on the game, which is neat.
Nice.
This was also one of the earlier examples that I remember of like kind of a feature phone game that was legitimate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was original and not just phoned in and
right. It's phoned in. It wasn't just some mobile trash, and because for people that didn't experience the feature phone game era, it was about as much of a shit show percentage-wise as phone games currently are, where like a large percentage of it was like, this is just trash that you've put into Java and ported to feature phones, and right. I don't know why anyone would want to play this.
And
but
even the good feature phone games were still made in Java, so
You always heard this. Yeah, it's pretty good for a phone game. That was how the best phone games were described. And then here comes Doom RPG.
Yeah, like if you're familiar with...
I believe they also did a Wolfenstein RPG.
Handheld games of that era.
As far as I know. As far as I know, used the same engine.
Right. But I was going to say, if you're familiar with handheld games of the previous eras, like Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, stuff like that does kind of weaker than the console games. Imagine that, but with shittier controls on a device that wasn't designed to play video games.
Slightly more watered down.
Right.
on your 180 by 240 pixel screen, your Motorola Razr or whatever. It did add a few new weapons, including an axe and a fire extinguisher. It did cut the chainsaw. I think the axe was kind of the replacement for the chainsaw. Plot-wise, it does share some DNA with Doom 3, which was the most recent Doom at the time. And the story occasionally crosses over with plot points or characters from that particular version of the Doom universe. And that kind of got me thinking that I don't really know much about the broader Doom mythos. Obviously, it's not all the same universe.
Oh.
I mean, we have to have separate Doom universes, right? Like Doom 3 can't be the same universe as Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal.
I think the new ones are a reboot.
Yeah, so I feel like you've got Doom 1 and 2 were very much the same. And then I think Doom 3 was kind of a universe reboot, also kind of a gameplay reboot in a lot of ways. And then I think the 2016 forward Doom is kind of the third iteration of that sort of Doom. I'd have to look it up. I don't know. Maybe fans have connected the dots like they have with like Zelda games and stuff. That's possible. But yeah, the Doom 3 version of the Doom universe was the current one at the time. This does tie into that. And it got a ton of praise. Several Mobile Game of the Year awards, which at the time wasn't particularly hard to get, as we stated. I did look it up. Wolfenstein RPG was much, much later. It did get a sequel. Doom 2 RPG came out in 2009, so that would mean that Wolfenstein RPG came out the year before that, 2008. Doom 2 RPG hit Java ME, BlackBerry OS, Windows Mobile. That was a thing for anyone that didn't remember that. And it was famously on iOS, which is where I played it on my iPod. And I think that version, I don't think you can play Doom 2 RPG on iOS currently. I think it's been deprecated. But I've not had iOS for years. I just remember having issues running it the last time I did have iOS. So there was kind of a trilogy of, id Software RPGs, and then absolutely no word on sequels or when we can expect more Doom RPG. It's just kind of been dead.
In fairness, id Software's current owner doesn't know how to make first-person RPGs. That's
but
not
I think
in their wheelhouse.
It frustrates me. I'm like, you have one of the premier RPG companies in the same fucking company as you now.
Yeah.
Make it happen, man. Doom 3 RPG, let's go. Doom Eternal RPG.
Look at reviews of Starfield. Do you want that?
No, I want them to keep it like low-key, indie, first-person, turn-based. Yeah. I would love to see like Doom Eternal RPG, even if it was mobile. I'd kind of be okay with it. These worked great on mobile. They were slow first-person dungeon crawlers, and it was just a fun time. I very much enjoyed these. It makes me sad that we got 3 of them, and then they just kind of got to be dead, and then nobody, whatever. Doom 2 and Wolfenstein, they are easier to play on emulators because there were iOS versions. But it's for anyone that hasn't messed with emulators of phone operating systems, it's weird. Although I think Doom 2 RPG might have gotten the same treatment as Doom RPG by the community.
Nice.
But it's not particularly easy to find or play any of these right now. Hopefully the iOS versions have been fixed or updated since I last tried. I would love to hear from someone that has iOS if it's a thing.
I wonder if the first one will play on an N-Gage.
I mean,
it's running Java, ME, so it should.
So it should, yeah. I did notice John Carmack programmed Doom 2 RPG, but was not designer or publisher on it, which I thought was interesting. And then he also did Wolfenstein RPG, which I'm remembering now that I did play Wolfenstein RPG and I didn't love it. I think the best of them was Doom 2 RPG, but Doom RPG was obviously the one that kicked it off. So sad to see that it just gets to be dead. It's just gone. Except for, according to Wikipedia, a fan port to the Amiga.
You know what? I feel like that's the right system for it.
Yeah, all right, I'll give it to him.
Yeah,
sure. Font might look a little big on the Amiga, but fuck it.
It's fine.
What's your next pick, Seth?
I think the Amiga can handle 800 by 600. It'll be fine.
I hope. I hope.
So I'm going to go with Lemmings Paintball.
Oh, paintball, you say?
Yes. I still own this game. I still love it. It's weird. So This was made by a company called Visual Sciences, and Psygnosis released this back in '96. It's a PC exclusive, or PC and Mac exclusive, I guess. So it is a isometric paintball game that just happens to be Lemmings themed.
All right.
And you control 4 little lemmings, and you go through like little puzzly, platformy levels.
In the notes you just wrote, what if we gave the lemmings guns?
That's basically it. You just shoot other lemmings, and they shoot back at you.
All right.
It's adorable. It's charming. It's got a fantastic soundtrack. And the critical reaction was confusing. Basically, everyone was confused. No one knew what was going on. But it's honestly a pretty solid game. I think it's DOS only. If it was Windows, it was like barely supported Windows 95. But it was.
Yeah, I was just checking. There was a Windows version.
Okay, then maybe it was Microsoft Windows. All right. But it didn't utilize anything in Windows that it really needed Windows for. It was kind of jank, but it was fun. I enjoy it. This was the same year that weird Lomax platformer spinoff came out for Lemmings. So Psygnosis was clearly doing weird things with Lemmings at this point. It's a game that I still go back to every now and then. It's not great, but it's fun and it's weird and it's quirky and
how strange.
And as far as it's not what you expect from the Lemmings series, but then when you start to play it, you're like, maybe this isn't that far out of the field for Lemmings. It's fine.
The cover is very like hardcore looking. It's like a lemming holding 2 guns pointed at
like
you,
dual wielding paint cannons.
God.
Yeah, because their guns don't look like paintball guns either. They just look
they just look like
sci-fi laser cannons.
Yeah, very weird.
And the first, because this is dumb, but this was my introduction to paintball as an idea. I had never seen paintball in person or known anyone who went
so when
paintballing.
Someone's like, yeah, I play paintball, and you're like Lemmings paintball?
Yeah, and I just thought they meant like they had these giant paint goop guns. And then I saw their actual paintball guns, like, oh, that doesn't look nearly as fun as Lemmings paintball.
I found a copy of the game that includes 2 bonus Lemmings games and a subscription to PC Gamer.
So yeah, the disc that I have does have the 2 bonus games on the disc. That's every copy of Lemmings Paintball comes with Lemmings for Windows, which, by the way, the Lemmings for Windows that is on the disc with Lemmings Paintball, 1 is my preferred PC version of Lemmings, and 2 is coded so that it is based on your PC's clock speed, so it runs ludicrous fast these days. So maybe run it in DOSBox or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cute. It is a charming little spinoff of Lemmings that has nothing to do with Lemmings aside from aesthetics.
Yeah. I've got my last one here.
Oh, okay, I have 2 more.
And my last one's kind of long.
What?
And it's a little bit of I don't know if it's a cheat. My last game is Dwarf Fortress.
It's a little bit of a cheat.
This is Bay 12 Games, started in 2006, still being actively developed here in 2022.
It's 2024 now, Justin.
2024. I don't know why I wrote 2022. So before there was Dwarf Fortress, I think it's kind of the same as the Mystery Dungeon games. It did turn into its own thing, but initially it was not its own thing. It was a spinoff. So it's as much of a cheat as the Tornico.
It's fair.
The full title of Dwarf Fortress, in case anybody didn't know this, is Slaves to Armok, God of Blood Chapter 2, Dwarf Fortress.
Okay.
Which has really Rambo First Blood vibes for me. It was originally developed as a sequel to Slaves to Arnok.
Yeah.
But Armok was originally a roguelike type of experience with insanely ambitious goals.
Yeah.
And as they're building this as a sequel, the fortress building mechanics kept expanding, and it kind of turned into a spin-off of like, hey, now maybe the point isn't that you're an individual adventurer. The point is that you're building this fortress. It sort of mutated into that. I just really wanted to talk about Armok, Slaves to Armok, because it
gets forgotten in the shuffle.
Bay 12 Games, Zach and Taran Adams are, by all accounts, amazing people. and this is their ambitious game that they came up with years and years and years ago. And I'm just going to fire through a bunch of these goals for Armok. Randomly generated universe with multiple Earth-sized worlds. Maintain the same universe between games and develop a rich history. Populate your world with familiar creatures or with randomly generated ones. Each world includes a working ecosystem with thousands of species. Skill-based advancement system. Each creature has a working body with detailed interconnected body points. No hit points. Pardon me, body parts. Functional respiration, circulation, consciousness, nausea, stunning, broken bones, illness, severing, and more. Detailed items that can be built and broken.
Yeah.
Working civilizations that expand, utilize resources, wage war, trade, and interact with each other. Complex magic system with programmable spells. You can make your own if you like. Explore freely, and a robust Z coordinate with no dungeon levels.
So when philosophers say that there is a greater than zero chance that we are all living in a simulation, what they mean is a simulation probably made by these guys.
Right, made by Zach and Tarn Adams. Yeah, that would be... So that was their first big game that they were coming out with, and so obviously
that's a big project for their first game too.
Yeah, obviously that is insanely ambitious. This is like 8-year-old wish list. You know, like when you're a little kid and you're like, I'm going to make a video game where you go to space and every planet is its own whole planet, and you know, like that's you
don't have to do that voice when you're doing Todd Howard, Justin.
Oh, Starfield's going to be so amazing, you guys. Every planet's going to be real, and it's going to all feel perfectly real. That's my Todd Howard impression. But people that listen to that list of things from Armok, a lot of those things made it into Dwarf Fortress. Things like bodies having interconnected body parts. Like when you're in Dwarf Fortress and your dwarves go and they get in a fight, it'll be like, oh, so-and-so got blood in their eye. So-and-so got a cut on their arm. So-and-so broke a leg, and then they'll have emotional reactions to the wounds that they have received and the wounds they've seen their comrades receive, and it will affect their mood. Right? Yeah. Inner working civilizations that advance at the same time. Like a lot of these ideas in Armok went into Dwarf Fortress and then ended up just kind of fitting in a fortress building game more than they would in
an RPG or whatever.
Yeah, in an RPG. Now, granted, Dwarf Fortress has adventure mode.
Yeah.
Which is probably the closest it's ever going to really get to being a sequel to Slaves to Armok. And the game is now the main focus of Bay 12 games. Armok is seemingly abandoned. You can still download like a way alpha build from years ago, and I did, and I played it, and it's
an alpha build from years ago.
It looks like what year did Lawnmower Man come out?
94, 95.
So imagine in the same year a TV show, a sitcom, Full House or some shit, wanted to show a PC video game as like a plot point, but the plot point was that it's like the most advanced computer game ever made. This is what it would look like.
So like Max Headroom?
It's not great looking.
Yeah.
But the two games still share a lot of DNA, and a lot of ambitions came over. Because again, Dwarf Fortress fans listening to that list probably heard a lot of things that you're like, yeah, they kind of did or are working on that in DF.
So I just looked at an image of it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it looks like a lot of the 1001 shareware trial games that I used to play in the Windows 3 era. Looks like a lot of those.
So yeah, it's abandoned. Dwarf Fortress continues to be worked on, especially with the Steam release. But most importantly, the free version is still up to date, feature-wise, in parity with the Steam release, and still free on the Bay 12 Games website. And reception for both versions have been nearly cult-like, I would say. And this
do you have to pay for your cult membership, Justin, or is that?
Well, I had to pay for the game.
Oh, okay. So yes, all right.
I bought the game, and I bought everyone I knew a copy of the game. So I think this might be the only instance on the list where the spinoff did actually kind of overtake the game that it was originally spun off of from. Which I think in the realm of weird spinoffs makes it a pretty notable spinoff.
Right. Makes it definitely a successful spinoff.
Yeah. You've got 2 more. What do you got
Yes.
for us?
So first I have Quest Fantasy Challenge.
Oh, okay. No.
Made by Imagineer for the Game Boy Color in 1999, published by Sunsoft. So it is supposedly a spinoff of Quest 64.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Quest 64 was released in Europe as Holy Magic Century, which is a much more interesting title. Much more interesting than that game deserves, actually.
Yes.
So Quest 64 was a mediocre to okay action RPG on N64 of that era.
So I do want to go to bat for Quest 64 just a bit here, just a little bit, just to say, if you were on N64 and you were watching your PlayStation friends play all these RPGs, and you were like, "Fuck, man, I wish I had an RPG." Just anything, really. It is anything.
It is legally anything, barely.
It is the definition of better than nothing.
Yeah, it is that. Barely. So yeah, it was an okay game. Not great. Certainly not the answer to all of the JRPGs on PS1 that it was advertised to be.
Right.
But it was okay. It's fine. So they released this portable version on the Game Boy Color. And
this game looks familiar.
Okay, first of all, in Europe, they just called the Game Boy Color version Holy Magic Century, exactly the same as the N64 game, as if this were the N64 game on Game Boy Color. But let me tell you something. It's Mr. Do. That's what this is. This is the early 80s arcade game Mr. Do.
Which is a top-down single-screen puzzler.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's a forward-view single-screen puzzler.
Yeah.
It basically looks like Dig Dug, but you collect gems instead of kill monsters.
Yes.
And that's all this is. It's Mr. Do with a slight paint job to make it quest themed.
I found an image of Mr. Do next to it.
Yeah.
It is Mr. Do.
No, it is literally the same game.
Like, exactly.
It is Mr. Do. It's not like...
They just stole it.
Yeah, they just blatantly made a port of Mr. Do, but themed it with Quest.
Oh, hold on. Here's Sunsoft's phone number on the back of the box if anyone wants to call him and complain. Should we give that out?
Yeah, I'm sure that'll definitely still go to them. Now, oddly, for some reason, the next year, Sunsoft and Imagineer released an actual Game Boy Color port of Quest 64.
Brian's Journey.
They call it Brian's Journey.
It's got a synonym for the word quest in the title. They couldn't come up with anything else.
And it's a faithful port of Quest 64 that I think is actually better than Quest 64. Because Quest 64 was not that complicated of a game, so putting it in charming 2D graphics, I think makes it better.
Works.
Yeah.
And
sadly, Europe didn't get that one. They got a fake Game Boy Color game with the same name as the N64 game. And then when they finally did make a Game Boy Color port of the N64 game, Europe doesn't get it. So I feel like that is kind of unfair and mean to Europe. But
I want to before we move on from it, I want to point something out. I have questions.
Okay.
On the back of the box, it says more than 10 monsters to beat. That's not really a lot, but okay. More than 20 levels to dominate. All right, 20 is a decent amount. More than 100 ways to win. In 20 levels, there's more than 100 ways to win?
I guess you could take different paths. You still have to collect all the same gems.
Well, wait till you hear the last metric. More than 10 million ways to die?
No, that's incorrect. It's just running into enemies.
Where did they get that number?
Oh, you could also crush yourself with a chest, whatever.
So did they just count every single individual square on every level and add? Even that wouldn't be 10 million. There's only 20 fucking levels.
I have a feeling that Sunsoft may be exaggerating.
You think they would lie about the game being its own unique game and how many ways you can die? Saturn.
That feels like a bit.
Give them some credit.
The thing is, I can't find the Game Boy port of Mr. Do that they stole this from, because there is a Game Boy port of Mr. Do, but it's slightly different than this. This is a better port of Mr. Do than the Game Boy port of Mr. Do.
Very weird. Also, on the American box art. So in the European box art for Holy Magic Century, it's kind of an anime-looking Brian on the cover. But then on the U.S. box art, it's the same art, but they like derped it up. It's like this like derpy version of this anime character. It looks like they're like, hey Justin, can you draw this anime character? And I was like, okay. It looks very weird. It's strange. I don't know if you're seeing it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. That's ridiculous. That's goofy as hell. I don't. This is the most confusing one for me on this entire list. I just don't know how all of this came together. It just feels weird.
Hit us with your last one.
All right, so my last one is my favorite one on this list, and that's Typing of the Dead.
Which we did an episode on.
I believe we did, yeah. I love Typing of the Dead. It's just House of the Dead 2, but with keyboards. And it's great. It's amazing. And if anyone hasn't played Typing of the Dead, go play Typing of the Dead, because it is literally House of the Dead, but with keyboards.
I played it at the Video Game History Museum last month.
Nice.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, the arcade version?
No, they had a Dreamcast, with the Dreamcast keyboard and everything. They added it right next to the portable game area.
Nice. Have you played the arcade version of it?
I've played the PC version, which I think is based on it.
It's that one's based on the Dreamcast version.
Okay, then no, I have not. I've only played Overkill and Dreamcast.
It's basically the same as the Dreamcast version, but because it didn't release over here, it uses a Japanese keyboard, which makes it nearly impossible for me. It is the challenge mode in Typing of the Dead. But no, I do love Typing of the Dead. It's so dumb. It's hilarious. It's worth playing. Hunt it down. Give it a shot. Or just play Typing the Dead Overkill on Steam. That one's also good.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. And you can load custom dictionaries. Yes. So there's Steam Workshop support for custom dictionaries if you want to add some buck wild shit to your Typing of the Dead game.
If you really want it to get stupid. Oh, man.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
As far as final thoughts, I think Saturn's final thoughts sum it up the best. So I'll just let you read yours.
Shit's weird.
Shit is weird. What a bunch of weird shit. I do miss weird little spinoffs. I feel like we don't get them as much these days. I know that some of it just has to do with the fact that the kind of power disparity between mobile, handheld consoles, Steam Deck, Switch, Xbox, and everything is much smaller than it was back in the day. I mean, the power disparity between like a PlayStation 2 and a Game Boy Advance is huge.
Right.
The power disparity between Switch and PlayStation 5 is something that modders and lowering some settings can handle.
Heck, even some mobile phones are more powerful than the Switch these days. So even mobile ports aren't that weird anymore.
So we see less of these weird spinoffs. It used to be back in the day that you wanted to get your game everywhere.
Right.
So in some instances, you'd have to make weird spinoff versions of it to get it on different platforms or to get something out fast enough.
And sometimes you just wanted to capitalize on the popularity while it was still there. So you just slapped that
put
logo
more titles on the shelf.
Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like the version of weird spinoffs these days is things like Fortnite skins.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, I want, like, new God of War is coming out. Should we do a weird mobile God of War game? No, let's just put a Kratos skin in Fortnite and that'll build some hype.
Or bonus characters in Mortal Kombat or in Dead by Daylight or whatever.
So, I think that's kind of the modern version. Now, granted, a lot of these spinoffs were just straight up like, we want to make this game, but I feel like many of them were
weird
marketing. Yeah, some kind of like weird marketing maneuver.
Yeah.
Or trying to copy, like Mega Man Soccer. I feel like they're like, Mario can do weird shit. They did a Mario Kart game. We can do that too. And then everyone was like, please don't. Except Jeremy Parrish. Apparently he was like, yeah, this is great. But it's. I wish we saw more of these. It's kind of sad that we don't. But they're cute and they're fun and I like them. And make Metal Gear Acid 3, please, for the love of God. Please make it. Or just release a collection on Switch. It'd be a perfect fit. You could do it right now, Konami. Right now you could do it.
No, they won't.
But you choose not to. Well, you know what else you can do right now, Saturn?
No, Justin, please
you
tell
go to patreon.com/Retro Warriors and you can get uncut versions of this show where I have technical issues for 20 solid minutes.
And also a little bit during the show, too. But I think it's resolved itself.
A little bit during the show. It's great. You're gonna love it whenever my internet fucks up for 20 minutes and you paid to hear it. So
Hooray.
Thankfully, you and Guy were here to
Yes.
keep everyone entertained.
Hopefully.
But yeah, you can also get Talking Wizards, where I talk about falling off of a ladder. You can
Again.
okay, you don't got a hammer at home. I got rid of the ladder. I'm gonna buy a new ladder that I can't fall off of.
All right. So next year, when you do your episode about falling off the new
I
ladder,
fell off a ladder a third time. You can get read along where we make fun of babies and ski masks. we have so much great content available for you. We would love it if you gave us money, like the following people who gave us money, starting with Dane McMillan,
the Stone Shooter,
Daniel Pollock,
Ray,
Vega,
Smitty,
Gorthum,
Alexander VG,
Kim Pallett.
and thank you, Isao Okawa.
I don't know who that is.
He was the chairman of Sega.
Oh.
He died like 20-something years ago.
Oh, well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that's the show.
Yay!
For you. I hope you liked it. I hope that maybe you're listening on your commute to work and you just pulled up at work right as the show is ending, so it's like perfectly timed.
I hope
so now
Justin remembers how to end a show eventually.
And you just. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, and as always, let us cling together.